this is behind here is the pleura.
Hassan, is that a sagittal view?
This one, and liver. I mean, this is no. This is sagittal view.
That's a sagittal.
Yeah, this sagittal view. Yeah. But also when you do right upper quadrant, you can do transverse, and right upper quadrant you can do sagittal, you can do transverse. But also depend on the organs, you know, and the change of the gallbladder is different. But this is sagittal view. Where is the probe? I mean, to the head. I can't change all the videos because we don't have much time. You see here, this is the Morrison pouches here, but this is empty. You don't see any blood. You see, show the next one is gonna be the is this the abnormal view here? Okay, so this is the, as I said, the superior part here. This is the diaphragm, this is the lung, this is the kidney, and this is here the Morrison pouch is going to be here. Okay? That's a little bit. So you see the Morrison pouch, the free fluid here. Any fluid is going to be dark, anechoic. Any fluid is dark, it's called anechoic. And the fluid is a good medium. I mean, for transmission of the wave, you know. And this is the kidney here, and this is the diaphragm, right? So it's easy. When you see that the patient come to emergency room, hypertensive and trauma, and this patient has, I mean, fluid there, so the patient go to the OR straight. You don't have to do the lavage, you don't have to do the CAT scan. I can show you everything, right? This is the left upper quadrant view. This is the same thing, and the liver, when you have a spleen, you have to study the spleen, you have to study the left kidney. Also same thing, the probe is cephalad, to the head. And also 9 and 10 space. And you evaluate the spleen and diaphragm node space. Same thing, on the right side you do the liver, right kidney, and pleural space. And this is one is gonna be hard because the spleen is not a good window, acoustic window, I mean like the liver. And this is here. This is the spleen here, this is diaphragm here, this is the kidney, and this is superior chest, inferior chest, and this is the marker of the sonogram. So when you do sagittal, it's going to be the probe toward this one. If you do transverse, the probe, the indicator on the probe is going to be corresponding to this one. This is called right, this is called left on the sonogram. See, this is the spleen here, this is the kidney here. You don't see the fluid right now, but you can see the fluid is surrounding, I mean, the spleen, okay, under the diaphragm. You know, this is, it looks, I mean, it's extensive one. And see here, you see the fluid here, the stride here, the anechoic. This is the fluid there, it's coming here between the kidney tube and the spleen tube. It's a massive one, you see? This is the anechoic fluid. Okay, pelvic view. As another study, we said right upper quadrant study, left upper quadrant for the spleen. This is on the pelvic view. You have to also study the pelvic view if you have the probe in the emergency room. The probe is going to be in the suprapubic space, indicated to the right. When you do transverse, it's going to be to the right, this side. And then evaluate for the space between the uterus and the bladder. In the uterus and the rectum, in the female, and also in the male, you're going to study behind the bladder. So the bladder is a good acoustic window because is a fluid, and the image in the waves, I mean, transmit, I mean, to the bladder, and you can see if there's a blood behind, I mean, the prostate. I mean, the patient is bleeding. And how you know this is a fluid or it's not? I mean, the bladder, because when you press on the sonogram probe, the fluid is not going to change with the pressure. And then the compressed bladder in trauma patient may indicate, I mean, the bladder injury. You might see, I mean, rupture of the bladder, and then you do the study. You're not gonna see much because you have to see, I mean, the bladder in order, I mean, to do the study. The bladder is a window to guide you for the study. But sometimes you can have, I mean, the bladder is ruptured, where you're gonna see fluid, anechoic fluid in the pelvic area. As you see here, this is the bladder acoustic window here. It's the wave is transmitted very good and reflected here behind. Here you're gonna have, I mean, the rectum. Anything that is behind the pleura is a fluid. So this is positive study for hemperitoneum. Here is same thing. There's another one. This is for the female. This is the bladder here. This is the uterus here. And this is the fluid. You don't have to see fluid here. Usually there's a cul-de-sac here. A small, pouch here about 50 cc. Usually you don't see it. If you see fluid as this in women's, this is a positive study. Okay. I'm not going to show this one because we don't have much time for the pleural and a statistic exam. So now they included for the first exam, in addition to the abdomen, they do the ultrasound for the pleura. Why you do the pleura? You can diagnose pneumothorax on the spot before doing the chest X-ray, especially if they are busy, and also it is good sensitivity to diagnose massive pneumothorax in the emergency room on the sonogram rather than do the chest X-ray. So what you do is use a linear probe. We have the linear probe here, and you hold the probe perpendicular to the ribs. It indicates cephalad to the head. It just starts inferior to the clavicular and mid-clavicular line. Here, usually they scan in 3 locations. Usually they start in 3 to 4 interval, 3 anterior, and then you can do lateral and 2 scanning and lateral position. If you have a pneumothorax, really big pneumothorax, you're gonna see it on the first location on the sonogram on the pleura. You can see here, see this is the markers, the word to the head, you put it like this, okay? You can do another study here, also here, and then 2 lateral here, then become 5. Here we go, so this is the ribs, and this is the ribs. Here behind the ribs here, because it's a good window, this is reflection, you can see it dark like this, is the acoustic, and this is the pleura here. It's gonna be hyperechoic, bright, and this is the chest here, this is normal. So when you have to do, the study, for the pleura, you have to change the mode of the sonogram from 2D mode to the AM mode. It's a motion, mode. You're gonna see this picture like this. It's not very clear. Like well, this is positive lung. This is when you see the pleura here. This is the granular aspect of the picture, and above this one you're gonna see wave. I'm gonna show you like this now here. I did this one in our emergency room department, and a patient coming with a shortness of breath. When you see this one, this is the hyperechoic, the bright line, this is the pleura. Okay, and you see this is the superior rib. Okay, and because of the reflection of the wave here, you're gonna see it's gonna be dark. Okay, this is this is the pleura, and then this is the left side. This is the left rib too, and is behind. It's also dark. You see here these lines here, they're coming from the pleura all the way down. It's called linear B, and then you have transverse linear here is also called linear B. So this looks normal study because everything below the pleura is moving. You see, these the lines here. You see perpendicular coming from the pleura and transverse. Actually, I couldn't record that on the machine because I don't know how to do that. We took this from the iPhone. Okay. The normal study here. This is the pleura here, and this is the inferior ribs. You see everything is moved. These lines perpendicular. You have a perpendicular, the triangle. Shapes. It's comes here. It's cometal. They call cometal lines. And then this one on the left side is positive. You see it's bulging, convex here. This is pneumothorax here. There's no much movement of the lung. Alright, so this one study also, I did that in our emergency room. This is view of pneumothorax. This wasn't a pneumothorax. This was a false pneumothorax. Why? You see this the pleura here? Do you see anything is moving here below the pleura? Below? Nothing. Nothing is moving. See, look, nothing, right? What this patient has? Huh?
Where are the ribs?
Yeah, we're gonna see the ribs, but when it's still in the middle, you see? I showed to you the ribs. There's the ribs here, there. There's gonna be ribs here too. I'll show them here.
Is that fusion?
No, it's not a fusion. There's nothing is working, nothing is moving below the pleura. Actually, I did this one to this and then now I can do that on the AM mode. You see the AM mode here, you're gonna see everything like waves. You don't see granular here, this is like this pneumothorax. This is not a pneumothorax. Okay, this patient was dead. So when he died, I performed a sonogram and give you the same picture as pneumothorax. But we don't have a pneumothorax here. Patient is dead, the lung is not moving, give you the same pictures as massive pneumothorax. Nothing is moving below the pleura. We're not gonna bring pneumothorax, so I brought this one. She is.
Do you have echo of that? Echo?
This
Yeah,
echo,
of that patient?
no, that one we don't have the echo because we don't have the probe, you know? Okay, pneumothorax exam. You have to identify the ribs shadow. This was the shadow, the dark things. The pleura is bright. The pleural sliding. This normal thing you can see in the pleura. Okay, you can see sliding lung. And then the comet tail, this is the linear, this is artifact from the pleura. You can see it linear, 3-4 linears coming perpendicular from the pleura, and you can see them, the comet tail. And if you don't see these signs, you're talking about pneumothorax. As we saw that, we don't see the sliding lung in that previous one. Here, same thing, no more exam. You press on the arm mode, aim through the pleura. This is the normal finding. See over the sand. What does it mean? When you have the pleura, everything is below the pleura is called, you can see as a granular in the far field. And above the pleura, you're going to see linear, like waves. When you have a pneumothorax, only you're going to see C. That's it. You're going to see wave. You're not going to see, sand. It is called barcode sign. Whatever you see on the top of the pleura, below the pleura is going to be linear. It's going to be C, waves. You don't see, sand. It's called barcode sign. The other one is called, I forgot that one right now. But anyway, this is you can also have mistaken false positive pneumothorax. As I said here, severe COPD or patients intubated, unventilated lung, because you can do pneumothorax and tell the patient, oh, hold your breath, and you do the study, give you the same picture as pneumothorax. When the patient was dead, I did the study, it looks like pneumothorax, it's not moving. And severe COPD, ARDS, pleurodisc, they can give you false study. Alright, so another study here, subsequent view about the heart. This is very important study, as I said, subsequent view. Usually in the cardiologists, they do a study for the heart in 4 views: the parasternal, apical view, subsequent view. Our in the emergency room department, physician they start with subsequent view. We're gonna make sure the patient doesn't have any cardiac tamponade in case patient coming with a trauma. This is the first view that we do. It's a very easy one that you have to, the probe is going to be to the sternum and to the left shoulder, and the sonogram screen indicator has to be on the left, and then you push down and toward, to the heart. And you're going to give you this picture. I mentioned earlier a reverse picture of the heart. As you know, the right atrium, left atrium usually on the top. When we do the sonogram, the pictures are reversed. This is by conventions in America, called the sonogram like this. In Europe, no. In Europe, you see this one on the top. So you can see this view. You see the right ventricles in the tricuspid valve here. This is the interventricular septum, left ventricle, left atrium. This is the mitral valve. You can see in this view here the descending thoracic aorta. Why is that important here? Because here you can have the pleura. And if you have a fluid here, pericardial effusions, and you have the pleura here, you're gonna make sure it's not a effusion. Pericardial effusion is a pleura. And this is the descending aorta is going to guide you with that. Because when you have a pleural effusion here, the more when the pleural effusion coming close to the descending aorta is going to wide, if the pericardial effusion is differentiated from pericardial effusion, wherever the pericardial effusion coming close to the descending aorta, it becomes so small and tapering here.